Okay, we're back in public session for the Committee of the Whole meeting of May 22, 2024. There's nothing specifically listed on our agenda, but it's my understanding we have a matter under new business. Mr. Demick.
Thanks, Chairman. I got a phone call last week, distress basically from Dave Jennings, the president. They got their gas shut off and it will not be turned back on until that gas line is replaced. He's a little concerned with our funding. I've spoken with Tim, Terry, everybody's aware of it, of what we might be able to help them do prior to the fair. I'm going to kind of lay that on. I talked to Tim yesterday. He may have an idea. Explain to us a little bit about the upcoming grant money and, you know, what that time frame is, and maybe Terry might have something to add to that. But nonetheless, what we're going to what we should try to look at is help it out in whatever way possible to get this gas line replaced that was, I believe on their line item thing was like $8,500. Definitely under 10 grand, but it's one of them that was identified that could be funded through this grant. The grant limits them to a lot of the projects they can do because of prevailing wages and so on, prices them out and how they'd have to do it. So we've been working on that, putting a list together. They have a task sheet to get BAPS and so on back so we can prep bidding in the near future. So I'll let Tim talk about the grant, what his thoughts are.
Thank you, Fred. Yeah, we did discuss this yesterday. We have received the official notification of the award of the grant. The exact number escapes me, but in excess of $400,000, and there were a number of projects that were identified within that grant application to be completed. We were notified late last week that there is an orientation session that is scheduled for June 4. We are not able to release any of the funds at this point in time until we figure out what the application process is, what their reporting requirements will be, what their expectations are for the disbursement of that money, whether we can request advances on that or whether this is strictly a reimbursable amount. As you indicated in your earlier comments, I think the estimate that we had for the gas line was about $8,500. The risk that is run by paying for anything out at this point in time in the grant is that we would not be able to be reimbursed or claim that. So part of the discussion that we had yesterday was whether or not the fairgrounds or the fair organization had any operational funds that they could use. And this board usually makes an allocation, or we're contractually obligated to an allocation in the vicinity of the number you're talking about. My understanding is that request has been submitted, and we are in a position to fast track that allocation, which they could use towards the gas line. And then what would happen down the road is that we would find another project that would equal the amount of money that they would be expending for the gas line that could be incorporated into that grant application. So the ability to front them money out of the grant at this point in time is truly an unknown until we participate in this orientation session on June 4. Delta Development will be on the line with us, as well as some members here. I think Terry, Carissa, myself, a couple other folks, so that we know, again, exactly what we're looking at. But if we're looking at expending the funds, I think there's a good game plan that's out there. I know we have water line, we have paving, we have some other pieces that need to be done, and obviously everyone's anxious to get it done prior to the commencement of the fair. The reality is, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe next year, but hopefully we can get some pieces done that would take care of it. But at this point, I would say there's really, unless the board wants to obligate money out of contingency or other funds to pay for this, I don't see it as a grant eligible expense at this point in time.
Gretchen.
Just to be clear, if we've upfronted them money, we would probably be in jeopardy of getting that money reimbursed because it hasn't been set. Is that what you were saying? It happens that way on some grants. I don't know if this is one of them.
With the grants, if you spend the money before the grant is actually officially allocated, you do not get that money reimbursed. It would be maybe then up to the fair. So
That project would not be eligible.
Right,
Right.
yeah, that's why I wanted to clarify, which I thought it would.
Just that part of the project?
Correct.
Right.
Well, whatever we did, whatever we spent. So if we spent 100,000.
So they can find other ways to utilize that money, I'm sure. So if we don't take grant money, is the prevailing wages enter in at all?
At this point, I would say it's fair game for whatever they wanted to do. I'm not a legal expert. I'm not trying to give some advice. I didn't sleep at the Holiday Inn last night, so I don't know whether.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're talking about
Yeah.
private contractor or what, but, you know, Fillmore Gas Company, the Bowers have always been real good members of the county community. Maybe they'd be worth a talk. Okay. All right, thank you.
So we need to do something about it, though.
That was an old commercial, I'm sorry. It's sleeping at a Holiday Inn.
So I guess they're good, so long as the actual cost of fixing the gas line is under our $8,500, they should be good for now. Is that where we are?
Yeah, I think that's the avenue to go. I mean, just let them know that. I just wanted to reiterate that, and I will share that with them. Like I say, they need to keep their project
Right.
going with getting them back to us.
We could certainly talk with them and see if there's ways that they could cost shift some of their budgetary items at this point in time. Maybe they can move things around, but that's a decision really that's up to the Fair Board and should not, we shouldn't be dictating, how they do that. But we could provide some options for them. Maybe not money, but we can give some ideas, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Okay. Any other new business? Anything for the good of the order? Would anyone care to make a motion to adjourn? Oh, thank you, Mr. Ricky. I appreciate your brevity. Is there a second? Thank you, Ms. Ricketts Wales. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, and we're adjourned.